Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. JLR investigates back at it this morning. Boots on the ground. I wanted to come on real quick and talk about the New England serial killers. The sun is coming up here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We need to talk. We need to talk. We've been covering this New England serial killer case out of New England. We're talking about Connecticut. We're talking about Massachusetts. We're talking about Rhode Island. Boots on the ground. I am reporting from the great state of Massachusetts this morning. Come on in. Hopefully the reception is good. It is bright and early. About to get started. About to go to location number 6 out of 7. 6 out of 7. Next location coming up, Plymouth, Massachusetts. Plymouth, Massachusetts. Come on in. So we've been to 5 of the 7 locations centered around this New England serial killing. We went to Farmingham, Massachusetts, 117, exit 117 off the Massachusetts Turnpike. We visited that location there. We've been to New Haven, Connecticut, looking into what happened to Denise Leary. We looked at Groton, Connecticut, where a suitcase was found in front of a cemetery. Strange stuff. We've been to Killingly, Connecticut. Yesterday, we went to Killingly, Connecticut, where a body was found off a road, Woodward Avenue. We went to Michele Romano, whose body was found in Foster, Rhode Island. She is from Warwick, Rhode Island. That is 5 locations, 5 that we've been to thus far out of the 7. There's 7, but now I'm hearing there's an 8. So we might have to go up to Springfield, Massachusetts eventually. But now on our way to Plymouth. Skull was found on the side of Route 3. We're going to go look into that. And then eventually the case of Paige Fannon, Norwalk, Connecticut. That's towards New York City. We'll probably do that tomorrow. So I want to give you a little debriefing and assessment. The sun is out this morning. Just waking up. Well, I've been up for a while. We're always looking around to see what's going on and see if there's new sightings or new developments in this serial killer case. Now, I will say, you want my opinion? Now, I'm not an expert. Again, authorities know what's going on. I don't think any of the 5 locations that we've been to have anything to do with any serial killer. I'll just put that out there. I don't think any of the 5 locations that we've been to have anything to do with a serial killer or have any connection whatsoever to a serial killer. I can pick each one apart. Each one that we went to, each location that we went to, we significantly learned a lot from each location. I can break down each of the 5 for you that we went to. I don't see any connection whatsoever to a serial killer that did anything with those people. As far as, I do believe some of them were murdered, though. Definitely believe some of them were murdered. Michele Romano, definitely murdered. I actually think Denise Leary was murdered. Someone's human remains found in a suitcase, to me, sounds like a murder, though I'm open-minded to abuse of corpse or tampering with a body and that sort of deal, not necessarily murder. But I think the 2 females were murdered. But are they connected to a serial killer? I think not. And I don't think authorities believe that either. So far, authorities said there's 0 evidence of a connection between any of the victims. No connection whatsoever. None. 0. And I seem like I come with the same conclusion. The family of Michele Romano, Warwick, Rhode Island, she vanished. What was reported missing by her family in August of 2024. She could have vanished in July. Her body was found on a remote road about 35 miles away, 30 miles away, 30 minutes away. We'll just say a half hour away in a place called Foster. It's not really in Foster, south. But her body was found on a remote parcel, vacant lot. Her family does not believe it's a serial killer. And they actually put out a statement that said, we don't want Michele Romano linked in. We don't want her linked in with the other potential serial killer cases. So you're hearing that from Michele Romano's own family. And you got to go with the family because the family probably knows a lot. They probably know a lot. The family. Come on in. I'm walking down a busy road in Massachusetts. I think this place is called Seanock or something. On the way to Plymouth. On the way to Plymouth. Denise Leary. My opinion on Denise Leary is she suffered from some mental health issues. That's what her family says. This is what her family says. She suffered from some mental health issues. I think she just snuck out of the house. Snuck out of her house. Met up with somebody around there, maybe. Don't want to be disrespectful, but I think maybe there's a drug element to that. Maybe got high. Got her fix. And then something happened to her in the course of that with someone probably local around that area. It's a sketchy neighborhood. It is. There was a big housing projects real nearby, subsidized housing. It looked like the hood. A lot of them being renovated. Neighborhoods seem kind of, there's people around there sketchy. Let me just say that. I don't think a serial killer would go kill Denise Leary and then say, hey, I'm going to go up and kill Michele Romano when it's two different, totally different demographics. Michele Romano lives in a nice neighborhood. She lives in a nice neighborhood. I think Michele Romano has probably the best house of the whole situation thus far because she lives in Warwick and she lives 1 block away, and I put out the video. She lives 1 block away from the ocean, literally. Like waterfront views, there's boats, there's people walking their dogs around there. It just looks like normal people. Though something's going on with Michele Romano's case, they keep throwing out the name Chucky. I think whoever did Michele Romano might be centered around a Chucky. Chucky keeps getting thrown out there, Chucky keeps getting investigated according to the neighbors. Chucky. They're saying it's not Chucky, but Chucky is definitely under the spotlight. Chucky. So that could be just a person, and I know who Chucky is. Chucky apparently is the owner of the home. Charles. Is it Chucky? I don't know. Haven't found Chucky. The neighbors are like, Chucky. It's not Chucky. It's not Chucky. It's not Chucky. And they wanted to make it perfectly clear it was not Chucky, but it was just weird. The encounter I had with the neighbors throwing it out. And then there's some newspaper articles talking about Chucky. So, Chucky, or maybe somebody affiliated with Chucky involved with Michele Romano, that will be up to the authorities to iron things out. But I don't think Michele Romano, again, I don't think a serial killer went and killed Denise Leary in New Haven and then killed Michele Romano, or vice versa, right? Vice versa backwards. I think those cases are totally unconnected in any way, shape, or form. As far as the body, the human remains found in Groton, that's a weird case. I have a speculation to that case. One, who in the heck would put a suitcase in front of a cemetery? Who would put a suitcase in front of a cemetery? That makes no sense to me. I don't think serial killers do that, right? Put suitcases in front of cemetery. My theory on that, it was some deranged person, someone died in someone's household, and they couldn't afford the burial costs. And they couldn't afford cemetery and burial costs, so they just put the body in a suitcase and sent it to a cemetery. Out front of a cemetery. It's just weird. That's weird. Person could have been very well murdered. That's a possibility. But I don't think it's at the works of a serial killer. One, there's too many cameras out front of there. There was a Cumberland Farms out there. Yeah, Sarah Boone 2.0. We were trying to figure out whether the remains that were found in that suitcase were either put in there. We were trying to think like actually like a Sarah Boone like actually put in there, which she did to her significant other, like actually put a body in there intact, or was the body cut up? Now, if the body cut up, doesn't necessarily mean that's murder, because it could have very well been someone in someone's household that died of natural causes or some other reason why they died, maybe not a murder, and someone just got rid of the body by cutting it up after the body died. That's not murder, I don't think. That's definitely a lot of other charges. But my point is, I don't even think the suitcase had anything to do with a serial killer. So I'm eliminating that. I'm eliminating Denise Leary being killed by a serial killer. I'm eliminating Michele Romano being murdered by a serial killer. The person on exit 117 in Framingham off the Massachusetts Turnpike, police say no foul play suspected there. I think they know who the victim is. Personally, I think the victim could be a juvenile that ran away from that neighborhood and went and ran away, and then something happened, because we spoke to some of the locals there and they were talking about someone that ran away. Someone that ran away, right? See, I don't want to sensationalize this and tell you people, oh, well, there's a massive serial killer out loose and everything is linked. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. I don't see anything at all. I think each case is its own case. As far as Killingly, aka Danielson, Connecticut, the one we went to yesterday off Davis and Woodward, the one that was, the body was found beyond that no trespassing. The neighbor said that was down there by the railroad tracks. My assessment on that situation is it was probably a homeless person out there that got hit by a train, because it was right by the train tracks. Or maybe somebody that OD'd out there, decomposed body. They're saying no threat to the public whatsoever. No threat. No threat whatsoever to the public. So, folks, that's 5 different spots. Did I miss something? Turnpike, Denise Leary, suitcase, Killingly, Michele Romano. 5. Now all over the news they say 7 bodies, 7 bodies. Watch the videos that I shared. You see for yourself. We went to 5 of the 7 locations. I don't see a serial killer. I don't see a serial killer at all. Nope. So there's 2 more we're going to go just at least look into, and maybe, I don't know, even know if I want to go up to Springfield, Massachusetts to look into this 8th one. It just broke through. Plus there was another body that came across in the water in Rhode Island. I don't think there's a serial killer with these cases. Now I do think there's serial killers out there. Let me go back the other way. I'm gonna walk the other way. How's the reception? We good on the reception? Is it good? Are we good on the reception? Folks, not one law enforcement has said that there's a serial killer out there. Not one. None of them. And most of them are saying, you know, they're always going to just flat out say, in a sense, well, there's no evidence. There's no evidence of nothing. The public does not have to fear anything. And I want to believe them on that. On this one. Reception is good. Thank you. Watch the videos yourself and see. None. No serial killer. No serial killer at all. None. In these cases. Now, I'm sure there's serial killers out there, and I'm sure there's a lot of unsolved crimes, like I learned about the Route 8 killer in Waterbury. possibly a serial killer that dumped multiple bodies along Route 8 from 1986 to 2006. And then not only that, but dumped bodies, another body was found in 2021. That could be like a BTK type person that does a crime and then resurfaces after years. I do believe there's serial killers out there, absolutely. Rex Heuermann, yes, Rex Heuermann. But it's not like these victims here, there's no connection. There's no connection between any of these victims, none. The locations are pretty far apart. I mean, they're all far. I mean, some places like from Framingham, Massachusetts down to Norwalk, Connecticut, where Paige Fannon was found, and all the way up, 117 on the Massachusetts Turnpike. It's like 3-something hours drive. And there's no like modus operandi, and there's no connection, and there's no pattern. There's no calling cards left. There's nothing. There's nothing. So I did want to just put that information out there because I think it's fair for people to know the truth. For people to know the truth. Now, we'll still do our due diligence and still do the Plymouth and Paige Fannon and let you guys decide. We created a playlist so you can see each location that's centered around the news, But what happens now is every time there's a body found from now on, because they say New England serial killer and there's been media attention on it, people are going to try to connect all of them together or try to keep the sensationalism going or keep the storyline. It sounds scary. It sounds like, oh yeah, serial killer. No law enforcement said anything about a serial killer. None. But it was worth checking out for ourselves, because if there was a serial killer, that would be scary. But nevertheless, all of these bodies have been found. Some of them, I believe, were murdered. Some of them, I think, possibly natural causes. The skull found in Plymouth could very well be 2 missing females in that area that have been missing for a while. Very well could be. Very well could be. I'm sure they're doing DNA testing or whatnot, but very well might not be. People do go missing. Some get reported, some not. A lot of homeless people go missing. A lot of homeless people die in the woods, off highways. A lot of homeless people pitch camps and tents right off routes and roads, major thoroughfares, bridges, overpasses, tents, because that's a lot of times state land. No one's going to bother them. No one's really even going to notice them. Florida, where I live, got US Highway 19. You go off US Highway 19 either way, and you got a lot of homeless camps and people in there and whatnot. So I don't think so, folks. I don't think so. There's other things we might do while we're here in New England. Luigi Mangione has a court hearing in New York on Friday. Supposedly have a court hearing. Somebody says, so is this your title just clickbait? I guess you haven't been following the channel. We've been covering New England serial killers. That's why we're here, to cover New England serial killers. That's what we're talking about. We're covering the New England serial killers and giving people boots on the ground assessment. If you think it's clickbait, you took the bait, right? Why are you in the chat? Because you want to see what's up. So there's other things we're going to be doing in the New England area. Stay tuned for that. We're going to be here for a while. There's other places you'll see. You never know where JLR pops up. You never know where we'll pop up, when we pop up, and how we pop up. Might go check out Martha's Vineyard. Who wants to check out Martha's Vineyard? Might do a live later on today in Martha's Vineyard. Now, I personally think the 5 aren't. Now, I'm not saying that the Plymouth one that we go to is connected to Paige Fannon or the other remaining ones out there, or other ones that we don't know about. Maybe we don't know about. Maybe there's more. Maybe others will pop up while we're out here. But I could tell you, I don't think any of the bodies thus far are a serial killer. Now, if you do, if you think this is a serial killer, share why you think it is, please. Share why you think this could be a serial killer. If you haven't been out and to these locations, I just would like to know why you would think it's a serial killer. Because the news puts it out there. We got attention off, or I mean, this got our attention based off what the news had put out there. They said, oh my God, a serial killer could be out there, 7 bodies. But man, each one, I'm like, no, these ain't serial killers. Victims of serial killers. Nah. These ain't victims of serial killers at all. Paige Fannon, probably some lunatic down there in New York that probably did the horrible to her. New York, Norwalk, probably some weirdo. There's weirdos out there. But I don't think the same person that what happened to Paige Fannon is responsible for Denise Leary or Michele Romano. I don't think so. And I think the family of Michele Romano know who killed Michele Romano. I mean, they're pretty much saying it in their statements. Let police investigate, let them do their job. We have total confidence in them. And I believe it. She had a nice house. That Warwick area is very nice. It's like a lot of like these Cape Cod type houses, very small. So let me know what you think, folks. JLR Investigates. I'll go back in Plymouth. I just wanted to jump on real quick and say good morning, and we'll be back soon covering the serial killer case. And we got other things we're going to do. So we'll talk soon. I'll be back in a bit. Sub to the channel, like, hit the notification button. Good morning out, folks. We'll talk soon. Serial killer hunting. JLR Investigates.